suddenly felt like...
Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks, where Leah, Michelle, and Katie Hopkins are your hosts today. I asked Leah for a dark background because we are both wearing white, not on purpose, and so what that means is it's going to mess up the lighting for the whole show. But that's all right. I will try to adjust it throughout. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Today is, what is today? The 14th of July.
Commercial
a lot
break.
has happened this week because it's in the chat here, and I am definitely
He's a Nigerian guy
keeping up on the chat here.
Smashing
Adeline
cars.
keeps putting the link to the SoundCloud in. Now, yesterday I was in the car with Patriot Gallery, and I've got a little thumb drive, and some of our songs that are completely raw, and a lot of them we recorded for Kansas in the beginning when he was living in Kansas, and he needed some encouraging music, and we would send him some encouragement. You know, there's mistakes, there's talking throughout, and so on and so forth. And this was playing on the thumb drive, and my mom goes, I didn't know you had those songs. Like, 'cause she hears us play them around the house. She didn't know that there were certain songs that were recorded. She says, can I upload those to the SoundCloud like Surge? Which the songs that play at the beginning and at the end are done by our friend Surge, and in his SoundCloud I always put at the end. And I said, if you want to upload them to our SoundCloud, you are more than welcome. She's like, so many of your viewers want your music and want to be able to download them for free. So yesterday, Patriot Gallery took the time to upload those songs to our SoundCloud. And thank you to Adeline for putting that link into the chat here. And it's also going to be in all at the end of every show. In the description, we put all of our links and so on and so forth. It's there as well. So if you want to download some Resistance Chicks music, somebody had said that the Rolling in the Deep cover that we did that they liked. So there's a lot on there that's very raw, but it's there, and so you can download it and listen at your leisure.
So I do have, and sometimes you have to make light of situations. I have an answer for Tommy.
Good.
He needs to claim to be transgender.
That is such a great idea. And I think that, like, if I were in jail, I might do something like that. Do I have something in my eye?
No, I did. The report by the UK's Inspector of Prisons has found that 1 in 50 adult male prisoners, that's a lot, identify as transgender, transsexual. I'm just wondering if there's a correlation there between crime and thinking you're transgender. We'll see. The HM Chief Inspector of Prisons for England and Wales annual report found that 2%, or 1 in 50 male prisoners identify as female, with that proportion rising to 1 in 10 for male inmates from the traveler community. I have no idea what the traveler community is. The report said prisons are often unaware of the true number of gay, bisexual, and other orientation prisoners in the population. It shouldn't really matter, but I guess it does. And the support to this group was often limited. The support to this group of prisoners, criminals. However, Belmarsh, where Tommy sat, was an example of how support could be provided. This included several campaigns to raise awareness of the needs of gay and transgender prisoners. People who claim to be transgender are entitled to perks in prison, including having a cell phone to themselves.
No, a cell.
A cell to themselves. Showering alone.
Yes.
And even requesting to be transferred to a prison to suit their sexual identity.
Yes.
Ask if the disproportionate number of transgender people in Gaul could be reflective of inmates abusing the system. Chief Inspector of Prisons Chris Clark said that could not be determined by the report.
Because you have to take people at their word. Prisoners.
Yeah.
Whether they've been convicted of the most horrendous crimes, and yet you have to take them at their word.
I know.
That they are a transgender.
I know.
So they have to take Tommy at his word that he's a transgender.
And get his own cell.
Yeah.
All right, I got to get some good news. Ready? Trump has invited the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison to the White House for a state dinner.
Okay, Leah.
All
Why
right.
is this good news?
Well, because Scott Morrison he was a conservative prime minister, and we covered his election.
Okay.
You remember?
Yeah, I do now. Yes.
And all
I
that
totally
stuff.
forgot, though, to be perfectly honest.
Now
until you said it.
Now you know. And
Okay.
then maybe other people need to be reminded. Scott Morrison is a conservative. He won the prime minister spot here recently in the Australian election. It was an incredible upset. We covered it, and everybody.
It was like a month and a half ago
really
or something,
hard
wasn't it?
It was really hard to find any coverage, but when we did find it, it was like
Right.
everybody on Australian News was like, boy, we got this one wrong. It's like the Trump election. Boy, the polls got this one wrong. So I just love that it's another, kind of a Trump-esque victory there. Morrison enthusiastically welcomed the opportunity to visit Washington, D.C., praising the U.S. president as a strong leader who always follows through with what he says. The Australian Conservative Coalition leader described the trip scheduled for September as something very significant for Australia, adding that he also appreciated the warmth shown to him and his wife Jenny.
Aww.
Australia's relationship with the United States could not be stronger, and it could not be stronger at a more important time for Australia, where we are in our region, where things are at in the world today, he said. So, he said that Australia and America see the world through the same eyes, and paid elegant tribute to American leadership in the Southwest Pacific Theater during World War II. He said Australia and U.S. have always understood each other and stood by each other.
That's good.
Australia believes in what Ronald Reagan called the truths and traditions that define the United States. We stand together in these self-evident truths. We stand together for personal liberty and freedom, for democracy and the ballot box.
Okay,
for the rule
you're
of
just
law.
British at this point.
Hold on.
No, you're British.
And the freedom of association. You're messing me up.
How am I messing you up?
Because you're stopping me as I'm speaking.
You spit on me.
It comes out that way. Sometimes you
It was
just
a
have
good
to.
effort.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Viktor Orban.
Viktor Orban.
Oh, it
What?
sounds like Mom's talking. Hello?
She might be.
Go see if she hates something.
She's not in the chat, though.
Hungry PM warns on long-term migrant crisis. Millions will arrive. Our task is to defend our people. Hungarian Prime Minister, we love him, Viktor Orban, has warned that the migrant crisis is a long-term phenomenon and that Europe's nation-states must be prepared to correct the EU's mistakes. Speaking on the Good Morning Hungary show on Kustas Radio, the Hungarian leader noted that there were many mistakes in the past 5 years which Brussels let slip, and that his own Fidesz party would not be resting on its laurels after the crushing victory in the recent European Parliament elections. We will only be able to celebrate our success once the problem of terrorism, public security, and migration have been resolved. He explained, reiterating his belief that Europe could not be strong without strong nation states, an implicit repudiation of the centralization tendencies of the Brussels establishment, which favors further centralization towards a more federal policy, although similar lines in the United States of America. Prime Minister Orban stressed that the migrant crisis, which anti-populist politicians often claim to came to an end in 2016 in massive sea crossings to Greece, were brought under relative control, or in 2017, 2018, when similar crossings in Italy were reduced from the hundreds of thousands to the tens of thousands, is far from over, he said. In fact, the pressure of migration will only grow further in coming decades. Now, I did read another article. You get this. Guess who's coming over?
Who's coming over?
South Americans are going to Europe asking for asylum. Venezuelans, Bolivians, people from El Salvador. And I got to wonder, how are you getting the money? Venezuelans, people, I was wondering, the only people who are getting there from Venezuela have got to be the rich. And they're the rich are the ones claiming asylum. And I couldn't believe it. It's when I read that article, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But you've got the Africans coming here, and you've got South Americans going there. Everybody's fleeing everywhere. And you have to wonder, what's wrong? Are people just too hot? Is it just not possible to have a good government where it's hot? South America and Africa is just hot.
Wow.
And I'm just wondering if they just need to be in a place that has some snow every once in a while. Snow and maybe really, more rain or something. Yeah,
snow is important in life.
I mean, Brazil, you got the rainforest down there.
Right.
And maybe there's just, I honestly, I'm just making fun. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The Batistons of Freedom, which is the Protestant Catholic Church, a Protestant church, never took a stronghold in South America. It was Catholics, which you don't have individual freedom. Unfortunately, I love my Catholic friends, and you actually can operate in your Catholic faith with a Protestant-led government. But you can't, Protestants can't, and I'm going to take that back, because Poland's doing a really good job. But the Christianity that helped to build the West is it never took hold in South America and obviously in Africa. So it's Christianity that they need, because it opens your mind, it makes you smarter, and it has nothing to do with race, because you have all the
Bible renews your mind regardless of anything, literally anything.
And maybe it's just too hot. Okay.
Maybe it is too hot. So there was a car accident out front, and that's why Mom was yelling to see if somebody needed help. It wasn't that bad, but the girl lost her mirror, and it was a hit and run. and the person ran off on her, and mom yelled out and asked if she was okay, and she said she was fine.
Okay. Okay, good.
She just lost her mirror.
Okay, so he said Orban stated his resolute opposition to the approach of the centrists and the left liberals to increasing migration pressures in a time of declining demographics in the West. He says European politicians want to legalize immigration, thinking that's the right solution. We see it otherwise, he said, insisting that fostering a more family-friendly society was the more appropriate course of action. This puts us in the minority, as we took the chance to listen to the voice of our people. The question remains, how do we implement the allocated budgets? When will European parties realize the pro-immigration has more disadvantages than benefits? So, again, make babies in Europe. Absolutely love that.
Make babies in everywhere.
This is the kind of
your country.
It bothers me. It hurts me to talk about, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it.
Oh, that's what I was going to say though. With the Australian president, prime minister, whatever he is, their gun laws in Australia are super, super strict.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if maybe he might be
loosening them.
We'll
see. New Zealand, after the one shooter, he obviously was, a criminal.
Yeah.
They have had the buyback. It's, quote, amnesty.
No way.
AR-15s, you cannot have them in New Zealand. Dozens of Christchurch gun owners on Saturday handed over their weapons in exchange for money. In the first of more than 250 planned buyback events, they have this press that they do to the guns to destroy the guns. AR-15 style rifles. It cannot do more damage than any other kind of rifle. It's just the way it looks, you guys. Although many gun owners remain unhappy with the compensation, some police officers saying, "Oh, this went really," saying that people say, "Oh, this went really well," blah blah blah. The only people going to be turning in these are people who would never, ever, 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 ever harm anyone ever with their gun.
True. So you just leave the guns in the hands of the criminals.
I really think. I can't really talk about it. It hurts my head. So you guys had a little smash up here with the Sir Kim Durock, the ambassador to the United States. He had to resign because he called Donald Trump mean things. And then Donald Trump came back and said stupid things.
Right.
Said things about him, and then the guy.
It was
resigned.
all rather entertaining, actually.
Nigel Farage says that being an ambassador to the United States would be his dream job, but he thinks that he would have to not take that post, even if it was offered him, which I don't know if Boris would do that. But he says it would get in the way of his campaigning for his Brexit party.
Well, yeah, of course.
Nigel Farage has said that Sir Kim Durock is a fanatical Europhile and a globalist who should have been replaced after the Trump victory. Mr. Farage described his first meeting with Sir Kim in 2005 whilst the diplomat was serving as the UK's ambassador to the European Union, saying within a few minutes into the conversation, I realized that a civil servant who ought to be politically neutral was a fanatic for building the European project and the new global order. He's a globalist, he told Breitbart News. The Brexit Party leader added he was furthermore astonished that after the election and victory of Donald Trump, that the British government kept Durock in place as the ambassador in Washington, D.C. It was obvious there was no way this man was ever going to have any access to either of the president or the senior members of the administration because he was diametrically opposed to Brexit, the Trump victory, and known to be a friend to the Clintons. The diplomatic cables leaked on Sunday exposed Sir Kim for having called President Trump insecure and his administration inept, the comments ultimately resulting in the ambassador's resignation.
So for those of you that are unaware, when you're an ambassador to a nation, it's supposed to be to promote good relations.
And you shouldn't be calling the president inept. Yeah.
Right. And if you have biases, they need to stay inside.
Yeah. Yeah. He says that all of the British civil service is doing everything they can to frustrate Brexit. There is an enormous battle going on in British politics. It's the biggest battle in British politics for over 300 years. And it is the people, the ordinary people who want Brexit to be delivered and the establishment who are trying to prevent it. So, I thought...
Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory. If it's the truth, we want you to like, we want you to comment and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and our channel Resistance Chicks. You can find us on www.resistancechicks.com.
Ring the bell for notifications.
Patriot Gallery has us everywhere. Mine's Bitchute, Freezoxee, everywhere you can imagine. I know that Mike Adams has Brighton. They're launching new stuff there. Jay's still working on his Patriot channel and Vituvo. So I'm hopeful for the future. I'm hopeful that our voice isn't going to be silenced. We had the Free Speech Summit that we covered on Friday, which is really, really exciting. So send us your letters to P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio 45150. We will read your stuff on air. I haven't had a lot of letters in a while. I would like you to write
So we're
us.
doing a diamond and silk thing. They always match, you know that.
Really?
They're sisters, you know that. I always thought they were like friends. We went to their sisters.
They're
They are sisters.
No, they are.
Somebody said,
How did
yeah,
I
they're
not know
sisters.
that?
They are sisters.
So somebody
by the
had
way,
said on the comment.
yeah,
you tell
go
them?
ahead.
No, you tell them.
No, go ahead.
On our coverage of it.
Yeah, on our coverage.
When we talked about Diamond and Silk being there, somebody left a comment, and forgive me for not remembering who it was and what your name was, but on Facebook.
He called up two wonderful ladies or whatever, and somebody said, I didn't know Leah and
Michelle were black. And I will take that as a compliment all day long. We love Diamond and Silk.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys, we're really going to go this time. Be blessed today, and we love you.
I was cold.